I'm here in one of the major cities of Southeast Asia. Behind me stands a health food store. But this health food store is unique. It is becoming a center of influence for the people of this community. And we're going to talk about centers of influence more in just a moment.
Just before he went up to heaven, Jesus gave us a command. He gave us a mission. Jesus said, "Go. Go unto all the world, telling them of his love." This is our mission. This is our global mission.
Hello, I'm Gary Krause and welcome to Global Mission Snapshots. On today's program, we'll be talking with Rick McEdward about a center of influence that's touching the lives of thousands of people in the heart of Jakarta, Indonesia. Ellen White championed these centers of influence, saying that they should be located in all our cities. We'll also visit a project in the Czech Republic, which involves Adventist young people reaching out to other young people on local university campuses. The Czech Republic is one of the most secular countries in the world, with the highest proportion of atheists of any country in Europe. And today we'll also learn more about a supporting ministry that's touching the lives of countless women and children in Southern Asia. We'll be talking with Asian Aid USA CEO Jim Rennie. But first, let's watch this video.
India is a land full of contrast. It's a land of great mystery and beauty. It's a land of unspeakable despair. But traveling through India, one thing is for sure. It's a land filled with people who should never be underestimated. For the last 40 years, Asian Aid has invested in the futures of people who have never been given such a chance, and their investment has proven infinite returns. Driven by the vision of Helen Eager, dedicated to helping those who have the least, Asian Aid is an organization implementing diverse development projects and sponsoring thousands of children. Their outreach spans from Bangladesh to Nepal, Sri Lanka, and beyond, from remote villages and empty fields to sprawling centers of education, from nothing to the unimaginable. Now, Asian Aid decided to document the work it has been doing all these years with a desire to show the world what is possible by digging wells in remote villages for clean drinking water and bringing much-needed health care to the women of Nepal, by providing an education for orphans, deaf, and blind children, giving them a sense of place, a home. But what we really discovered was being given was hope, giving hope to children, giving hope to women, giving hope to the ones who need it the most. This is Hope in Motion.
On today's program, we're focusing on the work of the supporting ministry Asian Aid, and I'm delighted to have as a guest the CEO of Asian Aid USA, Jim Rennie. Thanks for joining us, Jim. Just doing amazing work in the world's poorest areas. And what does it mean to you to be leading out in such an important ministry?
Well, my background was I've been in marketing all my life, so to be suddenly involved in a non-profit and to be involved in the mission field was only a new experience that came to me over 4.5 years. And I think it's connected me with the people at the other end. I see the difference we make. There are challenges, there are problems, but it is just so satisfying for when a little child or a boy or a girl comes up and thanks you. It's powerful. And to know that they are supported or sponsored by someone back in America or Australia or New Zealand or wherever, it's just touching that to see what actually happens.
Yeah. Jim, you've brought some more video. Tell us what we're going to see.
Well, we're going to play two videos. The first is about a young boy in Nepal whose life has been totally turned around.
Good.
And the second one is about a special little girl in Hyderabad, India. I was actually there when this was filmed, and after you see it, I'll share some thoughts.
Great. Look good. Let's see those videos now.
My father's friend, he killed all of my parents. It was God's will that I alone could survive there.
So he's very bright, and he supervises everything. We call him junior pastor.
When I was very small, I used to say, surely I'll take revenge. But when I came here, I got very good lessons here. I should not take revenge. I want to give him and even others that God could change heart. God can change heart.
When she came first, I used to be after her, but now she's after me and after all the kids, and she's very playful, and she says now she's very happy.
Jim, those are very moving videos. Tell us a little bit more about what we've seen.
Well, I think the first boy, Nima, who's in Nepal, where an uncle killed both of his parents, revenge is a way of life up there. So the pressure on that boy, even for his family, for revenge, was significant, even at that age. But he's forgiven them. And that is just a powerful story for a child of that age. The second one, Kirtna, is very special to me because I was actually there when she arrived. She was being dropped off by a pastor, a total orphan, and the emotion of a child that's been sent from house to house who has never known a proper home. When they brought her in, it actually got so emotional we stopped filming. We had to. But she settled in, and the house mother said, I said, how long before she'll settle in? She said, she'll be fine in a week, and I just didn't believe it. We went back 2 weeks later, she was running around, she was smiling and happy. And just last month, while I was in India with Pastor and Mrs. Lomacane, we visited Elam home, and we saw Kirtna, and it's an amazing story. A child that literally taken off the streets, now loves the Lord, but she's so happy, and it was so exciting to see her.
Jim, how many young people, children are you supporting through Asian Aid?
In total, in India, Nepal and Bangladesh, just over 6,500.
Wow. Now, to any of our viewers who would like to support the work of Asian Aid, what can they do?
Well, Gary, probably the best way is to go to our webpage, asianaid.org, and there you will see contact numbers for the USA office and the Australian office. The key way you can get involved is child sponsorship. Even on the web, you can see children that are available for sponsorship now. We always have a pool of children available for sponsorship. We do support them, but they need sponsors. And they're at different levels. There's a day student who walks to school. In the USA, that's $23 a month. Then there's a boarding student who you support with their education and their boarding, which is $35 a month. And then an orphan or a deaf child or a blind child is $45 a month. You will get their school reports. Sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news, just with your own child. And most of the time they write, and you can write to them. Sometimes they're a bit shy, so you will have contact with your child. We also have various projects which are listed on the website that you can get involved with.
So Jim, most of these students are coming from villages and towns and going into a Seventh-day Adventist school. What does the sponsorship cover? I mean, is it covering their food when they're a boarding student? I mean, how much does it cover?
That child is totally dependent on you. So you're paying for their education, we supply them book money, a boarding student gets a uniform and their food, and sometimes assistance with transport. But no, if they're a boarding child, all their education and all their living expenses are paid for by the sponsor.
I remember some years ago I visited Sunshine Orphanage, which is one of the Asian Aid orphanages, but it's not really one of the big ones now, right?
No.
Tell me about some of the others.
Well, we've, with the help of supporters, we've just, in fact, we're completing the last building now of Sunrise Orphanage in a town of Boboli in Andhra Pradesh, where we have currently 80 children with capacity now to go to 180. It's a lovely orphanage, it's in the country, it's got 10 acres of land, so they have got an element of their own sustainability. So that's been our major project, and we're looking at renovating and improving Sunshine in the next few years.
Now on the Asian Aid website, it will list various projects that you're involved in at the moment, and I guess there's pictures and video and all that sort of thing.
Yes, on the website you can get involved in sponsorship online.
Good.
You can go in and choose a child and sponsor the child. If you want to talk to us, call the USA or call the Australian office.
Excellent.
And there's also a list of projects, and all our videos are there to watch.
Fantastic. Jim, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Gary.
And viewers at home, please pray for Asian Aid. Pray for the thousands of children who are being touched through this wonderful ministry. And to close, let's go to India and let's visit the Asian Aid Blind School right there.
In the darkness, we have to live all the life. My name is Usha Kumari. At the age of 7 years, I lose my sight. I feel so sad. I want to study like others. Don't neglect me. I want to become a computer teacher. And God has provided this chance and to get education here. I will never think that I am blind because I have everything. Instead of seeing everything, we can hear anything and we can learn and we can go anywhere.
As we look at the various mission challenges facing the Seventh-day Adventist Church, one that looms very large is the growing urban areas of the world. And here to talk to me about that challenge is Dr. Rick McEdward, who is the director of our Global Mission Centers. Rick, thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here, Gary.
I was very pleased to see you out exercising early this morning.
Sure.
You're supposed to say that you're pleased to see me. Rick, urban areas just growing so rapidly.
Yeah.
Not so long ago, you were in the country of Indonesia. Tell us about what you found there.
Well, you know, Indonesia has, I think, 16 cities over 1 million. So there are vast cities in Indonesia. Especially on the island of Java, there are just so many cities, and what we saw there is that Adventists are reaching out in very creative ways to share God's love in the great cities there.
Ellen White wrote many years ago about what she called centers of influence, and she said that in every city we should have these centers. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, centers of influence really ought to be where the people are. And that's what we saw in Indonesia, is that the Adventists there are really trying to be a resource to their community. They're trying to help, to reach out, to share God's love. And they're doing it in such beautiful ways that it really describes this concept of being a center of influence.
So basically what she was describing was a platform to put Christ's method into practice, where you'd mingle, show sympathy, minister to needs, win confidence, and lead people to Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, it provides a great opportunity for church members to be involved.
Right.
So often church members don't have a connection, a vital connection with their local community. But if we do Christ's method, guess what? There's natural, organic connections that happen all around us. I don't know if we have time, but I'd like to share a couple of the different snapshots that I saw in Indonesia. One of them was kind of incredible. It was not a wealthy area in a large city in Indonesia. It was actually, maybe you would call it a slum. Primarily it was people not from Java who had immigrated into Java. And there was a large canal. The basic mode of transportation is on foot, on bicycle, and on motorcycle. And this little area had thousands and thousands of motorcycles. In fact, over this little canal, dirty canal, was a small bridge no wider than a motorcycle handlebars that had constant flow of motorcycles across it. And some brothers and sisters have basically said, we want to do something that will help these people. So what did they do? They started right near the bridge, a place where they wash motorcycles, where they fix flat tires, where they do all these practical things for that part of a large city there. And guess what? Out of that, they now know people. People are coming back to them. They minister to them. They share the bread of life with them. And they've been able to start a small group in that area that is really